So the article that I read was about a company called Capella Space that offers synthetic aperture radar satellites. So synthetic aperture radar is basically a form of radar which is used to reconstruct or produce high quality images of objects that are on Earth or a respective landscape that's on Earth, but just broadly speaking, reproduce images. So, one of the main points in the article that Capella Space is doing is they're increasing the radar bandwidth and power or signal strength in the satellites. So, the reason why that's interesting is because this company is going to be offering the highest quality images that are reproduced, which is pretty cool because obviously, if you're interested in this sort of service, you want to make sure that the images content that you're requesting is high quality, and this company is looking to do that. The company is also working on the payload downlink antenna, so they want to reduce the time between ground contact and imaging. So they're also working on the area or the topic of speed, if you will. So you can, when you request your sort of area of interest to be recorded and produce that respective image, it's done at a faster rate. So they're looking for increasing and making the best quality and also having the fastest speed. Some of the security implications that I was thinking about after reading the article is when I heard that Capella designs, builds, and operates their own satellites. So I think most people would agree that most companies are interested in profit. So there's obviously the potential for a company like Capella Space to sacrifice security and focus more on providing the best service in any way possible. So there is a possibility that could arise where they do everything to maximize their product and service and sacrifice security along the way because most companies are interested in profit. So that's a perceived security implication. The next sort of security implication that's maybe perceived that I was thinking about is when they said that the number of satellites that they will release will scale as the customer demand rises. So it just seems like there can be this sort of issue that may come about where if they don't have some proper system or mechanisms in place to keep track of the individual satellites that scale, it just seems like it might create a security problem because as you increase the number of satellites out there, it's going to make their network more complex and it might be difficult to pinpoint where a specific attack is originating from. So they're basically increasing the number of satellites, and I viewed it from the perspective of the number of attack vectors for adversaries will increase. And that's sort of a perceived security implication that I was thinking about. The sort of last security implication that I was thinking about is with respect to tasking. So when you request for a satellite to capture your designated area of interest, in the context of Capella Space here, they actually have the tasking orders done through a different company's satellites. So Capella Space works with a different company for the tasking part of this entire operation. And just from the sort of perspective of security implications, it seems like that because there's not a sort of direct working with their own satellites, Capella, because they work with a different company, it seems like their network is more complex and that it makes the sort of security aspect more prone to different sort of attacks or threats because they're working with other satellites as opposed to strictly their own.